Welcome back to our reading series for Beyond the Story 10-year record of BTS. In our last video, in our last episode, we explored the Baepsae era. We're still, within the most beautiful moment in life, 화양연화 era. And specifically, we talked about Baepsae and how BTS used their music to speak about inequality and how they grew through the misogyny controversy. And today in this video, we're gonna move into the next part of chapter 3, Love Hate Army, and we will read two sections titled Fire and Yet Another Start. And these are the last sections of chapter 3. And this is the moment when everything that BTS members had fought for suddenly collided with new possibilities. And their ambition and their stage and their story got bigger, like much bigger. So let's dive into the text. Ready? Beyond the Story, 10-year record of BTS. Chapter 3, Love, Hate, Army. Section titled Fire. Following on from mini albums The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1 and The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 2, special album The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Young Forever, released on May 2nd, 2016, was a final chapter that brought the various meanings of the most beautiful moment in life to their perfect conclusion. Not only was it necessary to draw this period in BTS' life, which had unfolded within the previous two albums, to a close, but in terms of the real-world music industry, they needed to reflect their explosive growth and mark a peak with this album. Rather than scrutinize the various situations the group had found themselves in, like they had in I Need You and Run, this was a period in which BTS could display their unstoppable energy through their songs and choreography. They could finally show off those frenetic dance routines that appeared in songs from Attack on Bangtan to Dope, Joro, but this time in a title song. At the time, luckily and also necessarily, Big Hit Entertainment was ready to present all these things. The focus of the choreography for title track Burning Up, Fire is a large-scale routine in the second half of the song, performed together with backup dancers. The dancers suddenly appear while the members are dancing, and they give an explosive performance that really is as if, like the lyrics go, they are burning it all. In this moment, BTS allowed people to really feel their unique and unstoppable energy. A dance routine like this requires a considerable investment of people power, time, and capital. It required hiring dozens of dancers for a set period who could keep in step with BTS, as well as a large space in which to practice. Though this would change according to the nature of the stage itself. In the practice video for this large-scale dance routine, V swivels the camera that had been following him to the opposite side of the stage and moves along with it before joining the remaining members and dancers already there. This was how large the training room needed to be. Big Hit Entertainment had actually secured the funds to do all of this. For Bang Si-hyuk, the most beautiful moment in life, Young Forever, was the beginning. He could finally embody his vision. Thanks to the success of BTS, the company grew financially, and Bang Si-hyuk could implement what he had imagined in a way closer to his ideal. In this respect, Burning Up, Fire was none other than a declaration. Just like the BTS members, Big Hit Entertainment didn't sit back and relax and were determined to push their way forward. And so, With the Most Beautiful Moment in Life Young Forever album, the Most Beautiful Moment in Life series, created from the energy of BTS and Big Hit Entertainment, was complete, and the group was advancing toward the future. It wasn't your ordinary repackaged album, but an epilogue that brought one period to a close. Songs from The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 1 and The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Part 2 were arranged in a new way, and included were new songs Burning Up, Fire, Save Me, and Epilogue, Young Forever, that would clearly convey the special album's story and message. Following on from the School trilogy, the more carefully planned series structure of the two, the Most Beautiful Moment in Life albums, meaning Part 1 and Part 2, was perfected with the Most Beautiful Moment in Life, the Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever. This was possible because BTS were successful enough to release a special album, and because they were successful enough for the company to put in considerable financial investment. The promotion for the release of The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever, is a particular example of what could be achieved when Bang Si-hyuk's ambition met capital. Big Hit Entertainment released a music video for Burning Up, Fire, in between the videos for Epilogue, Young Forever, and Save Me. Forever, we are young. Even if you fall and get hurt, I keep running towards my dream. These are the lyrics from Epilogue, Young Forever. Forever, we are young. I love this song. If Burning Up, Fire demonstrated the group's explosive energy, then Epilogue, Young Forever was an ode to the youth, to both themselves, who had made it through the Most Beautiful Moment in Life series, and also to ARMY, who had been with them the whole way. While Save Me, on the one hand, continued the stories of the characters from the Most Beautiful Moment in Life series, it was also a message from BTS to the world. Thank you for allowing me to be who I am, allowing me to fly, for giving me wings. So these are the lyrics from Save Me, right? Cause sooner let me know, just save me, save me. I need you, love me before I fall. I love this song too. And so they made 3 new songs, filmed music videos for them, practiced the dance routines for Burning Up, Fire, and Save Me, as well as the upcoming concerts. Everything was going along without a hitch. RM reflects. Burning Up, Fire was a period in which we really were on fire. RM explains in simple terms the differences between the 2 previous The Most Beautiful Moment in Life albums and The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Young Forever. He goes on, it felt like being back where we were meant to be. Like how I started out in hip-hop after listening to Eminem's Without Me. All 7 of us members are silly, and we have so much talent. On stage, I could pass out. I'm so excited. The song was so exciting. And the recording was so much fun. It's a feeling like, oh, I can live now. Until then, I was going, I'm seriously going to die. Oh, and like that, I stopped. And I felt like a party was going on here. This experience was a new turning point for them. For Jin, Burning Up, Fire was an opportunity to considerably shift his attitude toward work. Burning Up, Fire is my favorite song of all time. Before that, I was living without self-confidence, but just like I did in the choreography for Burning Up, Fire, I blew kisses when I met ARMY, and because I was doing it in real life rather than on stage, they really liked it. So I tried to find actions they would like, ended up finding lots, and I was able to really recover my self-confidence a lot through that. Then that became my character, and I ended up pulling gestures a bit brazenly and more often. Haha. This attitude of Jin's developed into his own unique role, which he would perform not only on stage, but when they met ARMY at official appearances, wherever. And he still does that, right? Later, when BTS officially expanded into America, his conviviality and good manners would create a lively atmosphere no matter where he was. Don't try too hard. It's okay to be a loser. Those are the lyrics from Burning Up Fire, right? 괜찮아, 말아, 좀 내 거야, and sorry. Looking at the history of BTS so far, these lyrics from Burning Up Fire were yet another declaration. In the song's opening, they have no choice but to say, I'm just nobody. But they also tell themselves, it's okay not to try hard. Like that, they let things go a little, and on stage, they fly into a frenzy. Then, when it came to the Korean idol industry they work for, BTS really did burn it all. And then, finally, the Olympic Gymnastics Arena, too. There's a footnote for that venue. It says, in July 18th, its name was officially changed to KSPO Dome following the remodeling of Seoul Olympic Park's main gymnasium. It can seat around 15,000. Okay, now let's move on to the next section, which actually closes this chapter, chapter 3, Love, Hate, and Army. It's titled Yet Another Start. When BTS debuted, RM's conditions for success were simple. He said, for me, things like the industry situation and indicators go in one ear and out the other. If it feels like things are going well, that's all I need. At the time, if we were number one on Melon, which is one of the largest streaming platforms in Korea, that was enough. Also saying, my friends know our groups. For us, that was everything. Performing in the Olympic Gymnastics Arena was yet another marker of success that artists could feel for themselves. Until the Kochuk Sky Dome opened its doors at the end of 2015, the Olympic Gymnastics Arena had been the largest indoor arena in Korea. Even now, being able to perform at the Olympic Gymnastics Arena is proof of an artist's success. Olympic Taejongwon, that's a Korean name, and is therefore not easy. In simple terms, the time between BTS debut and their first performance in the Olympic Gymnastics Arena was longer than the time between their Olympic Gymnastics Arena performance and their first worldwide stadium tour, during which they filled the 100,000 capacity Jamsil Olympic Stadium. BTS concert 2016 BTS Live The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on Stage Epilogue, which took place in May 2016 at the Olympic Gymnastics Arena alongside the release of The Most Beautiful Moment in Life Young Forever album, was in this respect like The Most Beautiful Moment in Life series epilogue of epilogues. Finally, the greatest achievement they could have imagined up until that point had become a reality. The resounding epilogue Young Forever, sung together with ARMY, filled the arena, and the members couldn't hold back their tears on stage. Oh yeah, I remember that. And like just that song, Forever We Are Young. And when all the fans sing it together, it's so moving and inspirational and emotional. SUGA still remembers those emotions. He said, the day we performed was Parents' Day, a boy night, and so I looked around the arena, saw my parents, and bowed deeply. I burst into tears. I was basically wailing. That was what he said. However, this elaborate epilogue gave them some new homework to do. Once everything they had dreamed of had come true, RM realized that he was facing a new goal he hadn't even thought of before. He said, "When we heard our album was selling a lot, I started to think more in terms of grand prizes, 대상, than numbers like hundreds of thousands of records. At the time, for the members, an annual grand prize was beyond the bounds of their imagination. It was heading toward becoming a reality, however, and even greater things lay in wait for them." V explains his feelings about BTS success from that point onward. "My goal had just been to debut. But then we debuted, and when someone asked me what my goal was, I would say it was to get a number one. After that, we really did get a number one, and when someone asked about my goals, I said my goal is to get 3 number ones. Once we had achieved that, I said I wanted to get the grand prize at an award ceremony. And then we got the grand prize. Haha. And we got lots of awards like that. It got ridiculous. Because we had said only the things we thought we could never achieve. And then we achieved all of them." V gently shakes his head and says, "I think it's strange. Haha." So yeah, they came a long way. And let's briefly talk about the 2 chapters that we just read. So first of all, Fire. So the most beautiful moment in life, Young Forever, was a special album, special slash repackaged album that they released on, when was it? May 2nd, 2016. And it was special because for the first time, BTS could do something that they had only dreamed of, like stage a massive performance with dozens of backup dancers and a huge rehearsal space and a budget big enough to match their vision. And BTS got to more and more known for that large scale performance. Think of, like On, which is, I love that track. On. Sorry, that I just butchered it. And what else? Run BTS, 달려라 방탄. That was also a large scale performance, which I love. And they were able to pull it off with Fire burning up because of the success that they have achieved. They made it. Now they could afford it. You know what I'm saying? So the title track, Burning Up, Fire, was explosive, not just sonically, but also symbolically, because it showed how far that they had come since the days of low-budget stages and cramped practice rooms. And Big Head finally had the resources to bring Bang Si-hyuk's full vision to life. So Fire, I guess we could say, was a statement to the industry. We are here, we made it, and we're not slowing down. And alongside Fire were also tracks Save Me, Just Save Me, and Epilogue, Young Forever. Songs that tied together the story of youth, struggle, and hope. And I guess we could say if Fire was about power, Young Forever was about love, right? Forever we are young. And it was about love to themselves and to ARMY. And Save Me, also we can say that it reached outward. It's a track that reached outward, connecting that energy to the world. And I don't know, I just love that all of these 3 tracks, Fire, BTS, I always had that energy, but this was the first time they had scale. That's why it was special. And RM said that Burning Up Fire was a period in which we really were on fire. The book, that's the quote that the book got from him. So for him, performing this song brought him back to the joy of when he started rapping in the first place. So he described it as a rush so strong that it felt like he could pass out on stage. And for Jin, which is another member that the book highlighted when discussing this song, Fire was personal. Because before this, Jin struggled, he had struggled with self-confidence. But the song and ARMY's reaction to his playful gestures, like blowing kisses, his signature move, became a turning point. And that warmth and that love became part of his public identity. That super confident, worldwide handsome, and eventually a key part of how BTS connected with global audiences. Um, and yeah, I love it whenever Jin does that. I mean, we all know these guys are super humble beings, but Jin does that. The worldwide handsome moves, right? And even the lyrics of the song carry their defiance. Don't try too hard. It's okay to be a loser. But that isn't self pity. It was a way of saying that we don't need your rules to burn bright, right? Hence the title, Fire. And also the final chapter of final section of this chapter, yet another start. So yeah, Olympic 최저공원, Olympic Gymnastics Arena. That's huge for K-pop groups. But BTS took the stage there at the venue in May 2016. And again, for any K-pop artist, performing there is a huge milestone, and it's actually a proof that you have finally made it. And at the time, that was the biggest indoor venue in Korea. And for a group, once who was once dismissed as those kids from a small company, it must have been surreal, right? And it was surreal. And SUGA, said that the concert was on Parents' Day, so he remembered it vividly. And he looked into the audience, saw his parents, and he bowed deeply. And when the book said that, when I read that for the first time, it was so moving, And because he burst into tears on stage, and it shows everything they had endured led to this moment. So yeah. And RM admitted, the book quoted him saying that in the early days, all they wanted was a melon, chart number 1, or to hear friends say that I know your song or I have heard your song. But after HYYH, the whole horizon moved, and they started thinking about Taesang, grand prizes, awards that once thought were far beyond their reach. And V also, V was a member that finished this section with his quote. And every time they reached one goal, he said, a new one appeared. Like, starting with debut, number 1, and 3 number 1s, and then grand prizes, and everything that they once joked about achieving, they actually did. And it felt strange, he says, like the world was opening faster than they could process it. So yeah, these two sections, Fire and Yet Another Start, it really marks the moments BTS story shifted yet again, right, to another level, because they have spent years surviving, fighting prejudices and pushing against an industry that really underestimated them. But now with Fire, they weren't just fighting back. They were taking over the stage. And from Olympic Gymnastics Arena, they were already looking further, right? So this was the start of something bigger, much bigger than just success. Because it was the start of BTS standing on equal ground with the biggest names in the industry. And then, of course, later on, they will be the biggest name in the industry and in the history of this industry. So yeah, what do you think? So here are some questions I'd like to end with before wrapping up. What do you think made Fire such a defining moment in BTS career? Or do you think it was a defining moment? And how do you think, the symbolism of this performance reflects BTS, their larger story? And when you think of their Olympic Gymnastics Arena concert, what stands out to you the most? If you were actually there in person, or if you have seen the footage and clips or the stories. And how does this era feel compared to their earlier struggles with recognition and hate? And finally, what do you remember about the first time you saw or heard fire burning up? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section by writing comments. And as always, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. Also, I am going to get back to this reading series, and my plan is to finish the entire book with you. I mean, I have read the whole book couple and several times, and probably the chances are you have done that as well. But my plan is to record all these remaining chapters and upload them on my channel before the end of this year, And I feel like going back to their roots and going through their history again and, reading about their story again really helps us. It helps fans to understand where they came from, because I don't know, I don't want to go too deep with this, but BTS, as you all know, is still getting hate, getting attacked from left and right. And a lot of times, even some of the fans do not understand their story and their history and where they have come from, which is why sometimes people, accuse BTS members of things very wrongly, in a very wrong manner, misunderstandings. Which is why it might be helpful for even the fans to go back and read about their stories and history to understand where they came from. All right. So let me see how often I can do this. If there are new updates and breaking news happening daily, then it might take some time. But I will try to do it almost every day. Okay. Make a new recording of the remaining chapters. See you guys later. Peace and love. Bye bye.